Hi and welcome to Vox Singing Academy's podcast. This is episode number 3. Welcome back, Em. Welcome to the Friday afternoon podcast. I always look forward to the podcast here.
Yay!
It's great. I really love doing it. If you like this podcast and you like this channel, please subscribe. If you have any questions, please put them in the comments section below. And if we answer your question, decide to do a question, we are going to give you a free singing lesson with one of our staff, or myself, or yourself, or one of our fantastic staff, whoever you want to have a free singing lesson with. So please put your questions and comments below, and if you're the lucky winner, we'll announce it here on the podcast. Today we're going to talk about a very important subject that we get asked a lot about in being singing teachers, and it's about confidence, about being a singer. So let's kick this off with you, Emily, okay? So we'll start with any of your personal experiences or taking it way back when you were a young performer. I know you come from a long stream of performers, and performing was always in your family, and you always performed and had sing-alongs and different things like that when you were at home with your upbringing. So I suppose maybe you're already used to performing from a very early age.
Yes, my anxiety is from a different side.
So when you first auditioned for your first band or performance or anything, did you feel any nerves or were you lacking confidence in any way? And how did you overcome that?
Well, I did have, I will tell a story if that's allowed.
Sure. We'll just see how much time we've got.
Yeah, we have like 4.5 hours, that's fine. I'm a huge fan of the Riverdance. It's the biggest Irish dancing Celtic music show in the world, which overtook the world by storm in 1996 or something crazy. Yes, and I was just over 20 when I heard it and saw it for the first time. I was gone. Celtic music is my big love for life. And at one point, there was a fantastic opportunity. There was a casting for the Riverdance, and the casting call was for all over the world, and there was already internet, and my anxiety is it just shakes me just thinking about it again. My anxiety is not for performance, but for applying for things.
Oh, wow.
So just sending different applications and so because I absolutely thought there's no chance on earth I would ever get cast anywhere, especially in such a big thing, even though I was quite a decent singer already. Not as good as now, thanks to you and my
but just
and our
that,
fantastic colleagues.
If you don't put it out there, you never know what's going to happen.
Yes, so
you never know your luck in a big city.
Yeah, so I was confident enough just singing in front of people and recording in front of people, but having this list in front of you, okay, so you need to record 2 pieces, this piece in this key and this piece in this key, and here are your links, and you need to submit an audio and a video, you're singing live, so there's no auto-tuning and things happening. And just reading this list, I was like, well, it just dawned on me, there is never on this planet I will ever get selected over other however many thousands of people are applying there.
Millions.
Yes, and the songs asked for, they were so high in falsetto, like the Cloud song, remember I brought it once?
Yeah.
Hear my cry. So this was super high, and I'm a mezzo-soprano going on contralto. So it was super intimidating for me. I definitely didn't have the skill for it, and instead of trying to find the way to make it happen anyway, like going and taking lessons and practicing and transposing the songs and just making brave decisions and saying, okay, they want me to sing it higher, but let me record it lower where I sound better. Maybe I'll get cast into as an ensemble singer, not a lead singer. So instead of doing all of that, I just froze. So the best advice that I can give people is, if you're feeling super intimidated and not confident, think why most likely because you are not unsure in your skill. And then think how you can either obtain this skill or demonstrate other skills that you already have. That's it. Does it make sense? Am I making sense here?
It does, 110%. I prep a lot of people for X Factor and different music shows like that. And they have a lot of video auditions as well too for people in the country. So I'm prepping people for that. Now we generally have a list of what they want. We only want 45 seconds, 2 contrasting songs, whatever it might be. Always go, if you are prepping for something like that, go with your strengths. Don't try to sing something that you're not. Go where you feel comfortable and you sound the best. Okay, that's what I can say with that. Also, with people that are auditioning for theatre, I always tell them to have 2 contrasting songs from a couple of different genres. So going right back from the 40s, 50s, 60s, and contemporary. So they've got to have 8 songs ready to go all the time. Okay, and again, singing the songs that you think that you present the best. So if it doesn't matter whether it's a Lloyd Webber production and you sing Gershwin better, if you're singing a lot, do that, you know. So sing where you feel comfortable, be prepared, which is a really big thing. But just really put it out there as well too. And that's just a big thing as well too. I think a very important point that you're going on there as well too is, especially AR guys. AR is called, if people don't know what an AR guy is, an artist and repertoire person at a record company. And they are still doing this, but they do it a little bit differently than what they did 20, 30 years ago when I knew them, when they would shuffle through your cassettes or CDs or whatever it is. Now they sit on the internet and troll YouTube and different things like that. But they also like to see people grow as well too. Do you know what I mean? That's what development deals are about. People are signed to development deals because they can see them grow. So put it out there. And a perfect example would be Ed Sheeran. You can go on YouTube Ed Sheeran when he first started, when he was busking on the street when he was 13 or 14. You can see as he got, it took a couple of years before he became confident and very good. And that came with obviously a lot of practice. And that's what it was, continually honing your craft. So going back to what we do, and it's a question that's asked a lot, that I want to develop more confidence in my voice. So I think developing confidence in your voice is, you've got to have confidence in your abilities firstly. It doesn't matter what you're doing in life. You've got to have confidence in your abilities, whether it's filming here, doing a podcast, whether it's singing. So you have to put in the work, and everyone puts in the work. Like we were discussing before we did this podcast, roughly, we pretty much freestyle here. So this is pretty much live. But there's no script. We just basically say, okay, what are we going to be talking about? Let's talk about this and make sure that we cover this subject, and that's pretty much it, and we just let it fly. I think that you've got to have the skill set first and foremost. So find the skills, find a teacher, train your voice, feel confident in your abilities. If you're for instance, a boxer, you wouldn't go into the ring if you didn't have any skills. You'd go and get some boxing lessons to make sure that you didn't get the crap beaten out of you, because you would. Same with singing or any skill that you're going to be doing. So go and get the skills, practice, be confident before you're going to jump in the ring or before you're going to go and sing. Okay, find out what you sound best at, find the key, and then start small. If you're suffering from confidence issues, start small. Sing at home, record yourself at home, okay?
Hold your phone up and sing into it.
Yes, sing into it, and then pick out the bits and pieces that you don't think were right and try to fix them. If you can't fix them, go and get professional help. Because I know that, especially with myself, with our training, we call ourselves vocal mechanics. And if you watch my lessons, I pick things up straight away. I don't let one thing go. I pick it up straight away. And the most important point is pitch. So firstly, recording yourself, picking up bits and pieces, fixing it. Once you've fixed it, then look at yourself and see what you actually look like. Because if you're standing there not looking confident, that's a really big important thing. So let's just have some fun, side to side, start to perform, get the song down. And then start with little crowds, build that up. So start at home, sing in front of your mum or dad or someone that you feel comfortable with, and then take it take it to the public, go to karaoke, go to open mic nights. That's the first place where I would start. And we normally find, especially open mic nights here around in Melbourne, they're very supportive, very, very supportive. So go to these different open mic nights and then just keep on going. If you want to audition for a band, audition for bands. Okay, but again, be prepared. Big thing is always be prepared. Before you go up to karaoke, make sure, and you'll see, the better karaoke singers know the lyrics inside out, back to front. They're not looking at the screen. The better performers at the open mic nights know their stuff inside out, back to front. Be prepared, be better, try to be better than the next person. I remember performing at an open mic night once, and the person that was performing before me said, I thought he was jesting. He just said, I just wrote this song down on the way here on the tram. And I went, okay, you're just doing that to make me feel better. I reckon he bloody well did, because he was stumbling through this thing. But be prepared, because you never know who's going to be in the crowd at all. I know that there was a story that Joel told me from Airborne that they played, before they were well known, they played a little crappy bar in North Melbourne. And he was telling me that they basically cleared the tables after dinner. There was no drum riser, there was all the same level. And Michael Gudinski was in the crowd to check them out.
Who's that? Sorry, I have no clue.
Michael Gudinski owns Mushroom Records.
Okay.
So that's the story that Joel told me. So you never know who's going to be in the crowd there watching you at any point. And then build up. If you want to audition for original bands, please make sure that you're prepared again. If you're auditioning, make sure they send you some files of some of their original songs. Make sure that you learn a cover song and say, hey guys, can you learn this song? And I'll learn 2 of your original sons. Give me a week, I'll get them down, and let's have the audition on this date. Okay, be prepared by the time you go there. If you're really keen at being in that band. Doesn't matter whether it's theatre as well too. If you're doing amateur theatre, same thing. Please have your 8 songs prepped. 4 slow, 4 fast, and then audition with the songs that are relatively within that era or genre of what you're doing. And be prepared. Make sure that you know them 110%. So I think preparation is the big one. Having confidence in your abilities is the big one as well too. So I think that's really what it is.
I also wanted to add to this that a lot of students in class, I film my students a lot. Hi, my dear students. And most of them just go, oh, no, I don't like being filmed. You like singing. You want to be singing in front of people. Let's get used to it straight away.
I have a lot of students, not so much now because I take on more of the advanced and professional students, but when I first started teaching, you'd be taking on more beginner intermediates, they were saying, I don't like the sound of my own voice. It's like your hair, do you know what I mean? If you've got red wavy hair, you can straighten it till the cows come, but it's always going to go back to wavy. So accept your voice. And I think having a unique voice is very, very important.
Absolutely.
I think it's extremely important. And I don't like to change people's phrasing too much. If someone has a unique way of phrasing, I don't say, hey, look, phrase a different way. Let's keep it with that and try to build and work on that. I think having something unique like that is very important this day and age.
Another addition that I wanted to make is the learning process of songs, of instrumental pieces. Doesn't matter whether you're a musician or an actor learning your lines. It's always hard in the beginning. Just learning the first couple of pieces is the hardest. It doesn't mean that it will remain the hardest. You will just figure out the best way for yourself to learn faster. Just keep persevering, keep learning things. You will learn to learn. Am I making sense?
Tip here, memory retention happens the best in 24 hours. So if you want to learn something, it doesn't matter whether and you probably learned this from university, if you're studying for an exam, the lecturers will always say, every day study for it. Memory retention happens every day. If you walk down a path every day, you're going to know that path back to front. If you're learning lyrics, come back and do it every day. Yep. So, and that's just a really big thing to do with that, and just that's the best way to learn things is doing it every day, over and over again.
But I don't like practicing, Peter. I don't like learning. It's boring. What do I do?
You know, you want to mix it up when it's like that. You know, nothing at all is going. Nothing in life. You're not going to achieve any success without doing the hard work, and that's the whole
It
thing.
feels like a chore.
When people,
I'm role playing here.
yeah, when people say that, say, okay, well, look, let's come to a compromise. Let's just do 15 minutes worth of scales, and then you can sing for half an hour.
Mm-hmm.
You know, scales are part of what we do. It's like a football player just doesn't go and play football. They train every day of the week, honing their skills so that when they play the game, hopefully they're going to play well. It's the same as a singer as well too.
Yeah.
You've got to hone your skills. You've got to do the scales. You've got to eat well. And singing's harder than being a guitarist because you can be asleep being a guitarist, hungover, whatever it is. But you know, if you're not feeling great being a singer, it reflects in your voice. If you haven't had the right amount of sleep, if you're listless, if you're depressed, if whatever it is, it's going to come out in your voice. That's where before a performance, you've really got to pump up and get into what we call the zone before a performance to give your best performance, I think.
Yeah. A lot of the time you can tell, right, when you see a performer on stage and you're like, nah, they're not feeling it.
Yep.
It's so
Yep.
nice and polished and clean, and they're just going through the motions.
Yep.
Now.
Yep. You know, you gotta see people, you know, being in the moment, and it's extremely hard for big touring bands, I think, that are banking up. You know, I know that In Heart's Wake this year, you know, those guys toured for 3/4 of the year. They started their tour here, nationally. They went to Europe. They went to the States. They came back here nationally again. Went back to Europe, and change things up. If you're doing that, change the setup, change the song, change it around a little bit. You know, to keep it fresh, not just going through the same stuff because you're going to get bored of it every night. But it must just be, I don't know, I've never done that, but it must be incredibly hard for these bands that tour for that length of time,
Yeah.
doing the same thing, trying to keep it fresh.
What helps me here is working out different versions. Like, for example, if I have a full band version of a song, I would also have like an electronic version of it.
Or an acoustic version.
And an acoustic version. So, and something that also I'm able to do with an acoustic guitarist or with myself on a piano. There was a really funny story, like my friends from Arkhangelsk probably remember this. There was a huge electricity blowout at the venue. A ramp just exploded in my face and there was no light. There was no light at the club at all. So people just brought the candles from their tables to the piano. Luckily there was an acoustic piano. And I just did the rest of the show with candles in the piano and people sitting on the floor. It was awesome.
So there's no light or electricity?
Nothing.
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen that, and I've had that happen myself as well too, where we're just totally, but there was no, we lost power up on the stage power went out. So yeah, you have to improvise with what you're going to be doing. Again, you have to have this is plan B and C really, you know, what are you going to do? Are we going to do it acoustically? Are we going to go into a version of We Will Rock You that the whole crowd can get into? Are there some songs that you can interact with the crowd?
Yeah.
Where we can sing together? I've seen a clip on YouTube where Green Day were playing some huge big festival and they got the crowd to sing Bohemian Rhapsody. So the whole crowd sang Bohemian Rhapsody all the way through. Yeah, pretty much a cappella. So we've always got to have those things. But we're getting a little bit off track here. We need to bring it back to with.
But I feel like it's still about the confidence, just having multiple versions of the pieces rehearsed and prepared. It will add another layer of confidence. Like, what do you do if something goes wrong?
Yep.
You know exactly what you do. You don't just work with what you've got.
Yep.
Because you have it worked out.
For sure, even if you're having a bad night vocalist, say, okay, look, let's come in and do the acoustic version. You know, I know that 30 Seconds to Mars, whatever it is, Jay Leno, whatever his name is, maybe I got the wrong, but he always does The Kill acoustically. Maybe to break the setup, I probably think that he probably can't sing it in the original key that it's done, so it always brings it down. But it just changes it up a little bit, which is good. So you can always change things up like that. So
And there's nothing wrong about singing in a different key, because every performance in the studio is a heightened version of the song. It's like the ideal version of it that all artists are striving towards. It's absolutely impossible to do this constantly. If you can get this one awesome, fantastic take, if you can comp out this beautiful, perfect version of it, and then repeat it exactly the same every single night, probably you didn't do your job at the studio. You probably didn't give it your all.
I think that's a great thing, and I tell it to all of I do a lot of pre-production. I probably spend, honestly, I would have to spend a quarter of my teaching week doing pre-production for recordings. So that means people are bringing in their songs that they're about to record in the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 months, whenever it is. They generally bring their first, most important 5 or 6 tracks in. I spend at least a third to a quarter of my teaching week doing pre-production. And I always say, I don't care whether you can pull this off live. We need this to be the best version you can in the studio, because that's what people are always going to gauge you off. I listen to the Beatles albums, and they're always going to go off what the version is on the album, and then the live version. And you've heard many of your favourite artists, instead of going for the big high note, they will come down and do a triad to come down off the note. Or if the note's inclined, they will decline the note instead, still in the same key, same different melody. So it's just to save your voice as well too. Again, tuning down is a big one. Most touring bands would always generally tune down. Most people don't even know the difference, but most big bands, they will tune in if they're touring for long periods of time to save their voice. So it's always about, when you're touring, it's about making it to the last show with sounding great. So it's a marathon. You've got to think of the long game when you've got big tours like that. We should actually, we'll have a segment about that, about tour preparation and doing that. I think it'll just be for a very small group of people that are touring. But we'll go into tour preparation and what happens and what I do to get my guys up and gig ready for touring. You know, In Heart's Wake, Airborne, a lot of these guys do really big tours. You know, banking shows up months on end in Europe and the States, especially Europe. So we'll have a segment about that. But going back to confidence, is there anything else that you want to add about what you think that we've discussed here that you can add value to someone there that's...
Lack of confidence is just lack of preparation. That's all I can say. If you are not feeling confident, it means you know really, really well that you didn't do something that you could. So go and do that.
Yep. I think knowing yourself and knowing your abilities is the best thing that you can do, and then play to your strengths. Play to the keys that best suit your voice, songs that best suit your voice, and go to your strengths. I know that we're all inspired by other singers. That's how we got into this. I wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't for the Beatles. And we're all inspired to sing like that, but do the best with what you can do, and definitely have your idols, but just do the best with what you can do. You know, that's really the big thing. So I think is doing the best, and you've got to put the work in. You know, I think taking it back to one of my students, Chris DeCinque from Closure in Moscow, when he came into me, he wasn't in Closure in Moscow. He was in his band previously before that, and you know, a very shy, would come in sort of like this, wouldn't give me direct eye contact, and really, you know,
because you're scary.
People have said that I am a big intimidating bastard. I don't think I'm big. I don't think I'm intimidating. I think that a lot of people with me, and this is not just teaching, but everyone's got an opinion. But I tell them the truth nicely. If they're pitchy, I'm going to say, look, it's pitchy. It's no good saying, hey, peeing down someone's back and tell them it's raining. So I tell them the truth, and a lot of people don't like the truth. They live in this fantasy world of, this is the way it is. Like, you know, when you come in today, I said, hey, Em, how's your day going? And you said, yeah, still alive. you know, and I would generally always answer you, hey, how's your day going? Yep, great. You meet someone for the first time, you're not going to say, no, my day has been crap, because we don't have that rapport.
Yeah.
But you know, I will always tell people the truth nicely, and I'm not just going to go and hammer them and say that was pitchy and that was crap or whatever it is.
There's no hope. You will never be anything.
I will always say that was a little bit pitchy. Here's how we're going to fix it. Here's how we're going to rectify it.
Yeah.
Let's do
Find
this
a
scale,
solution.
or let's do this, or we're going to do some pitching, or I'm going to record an example of you doing that. You know, it's one of our big things that we do is if someone's not getting it, we give them a scratch track, we record it for them so they go home and practice it. Instead of them basically thinking of, where is this and how do I do this, we actually record the versions of it so that they can go home and do it. I do this a lot in my original, with guys that bring in original tracks that are searching for notes or big notes, whatever it is. So I think having confidence that way, I've just totally lost track of where we're going with this here, Em. But
the confidence and why are we not confident is just figuring out why and fixing that. Yeah.
And working really hard. As I said, going back to Krista Sinkway from Closure in Moscow, working really hard, coming in and just practicing. I remember working with Chris, and I remember his falsetto wasn't happening at all. Didn't have much falsetto. He's one of the probably best in and out of falsetto singers that you can probably get now, and really wanted to work on his high range. And we worked on his falsetto for months. Every lesson. Every week he'd come in and we'd just work on falsetto. Let's get falsetto until it's down. And we're doing Queen songs and going in and out of falsetto and doing stuff until it became very good. And he just put in the hard work and just worked and worked and worked. I think in the end as well too, when they got signed and they became big, he actually stopped working then. He was working a part-time job and he actually stopped working when they got signed, prepping for the album, and just said, I'm just going to work on my voice and get my voice the best that it can. And I personally think that First Temple is their best album that they've done. The first 6 songs on that are just absolutely amazing. It brings a smile to my face just thinking about the pop sensibility on the first 6 songs. And the whole album's great. The first 6 songs really yanked my crank and they really took it to the next level with that. But he really worked really hard. And even his stage performance as well too. Started very sort of timidly up on stage, a lot of pitching issues, but then really worked really hard. And that's really preparation and hard work as well too. Going back to your question, because we got lost there as well too, Em, is that yes, you've got to sometimes do the hard work and the things that you don't like doing. Like a football player might not like doing sprints, and if you don't like doing scales, you've got to do a little bit of it. That's the way. If you want to expand your high range, improve your high range, you've got to do high scales.
Yeah.
If you want to improve your pitch, you've got to do octave numbers and the scales that we give our students to do pitching scales.
Yeah.
You've got to record yourself, listen to yourself, and try to fix it yourself. If not, take it to your teacher, take it to a professional. So I think really preparation is the big thing, practice, and being confident in your abilities. But then once you've done it, take it to the world. Start going performing, go to karaoke, open mic nights, perform in front of your friends, put it on YouTube, and put it out there.
To summarize, I'd just like to give an actual step-by-step guide how to sort out your confidence. Identify the problem, why, fix this problem, and then just let it go. Just go and start auditioning, start recording, start doing the thing that you were not confident in, knowing that you are doing your best and not aiming for a result from the universe to magically land in your lap, but for something to happen to you in this regard, to get into a band that you like and they suddenly, their vocalist retired and they're looking for a new one. It happens all the time. You need to be prepared for this. Fortune favors the prepared, right? Is that how the saying goes?
It's actually fortune favours the brave, but yes, but
disagree. Braveness is important, but you need to prepare first and then be brave.
So yeah, I think being prepared is incredibly important, and always you either want to be prepared for what is going to be coming. Always do that. There's a great YouTube clip out there, guys, and it's by. Oh, I'm going to find it and put it in the link here because his name eludes me now. He's a public speaker, an Afro-American public speaker, and he was a radio announcer, but he had no experience. And he just goes on about how he was practicing at home, and then he just went to the radio station and said, "Can I please have a job here?" And he got knocked back, and he went back every day. And then the announcer, the boss said, "Yes, you can." Oh God, his name just eludes me now. Brown. His name's Brown.
You'll remember it.
Yeah, I will. When I'm about 5 seconds before I'm about to go to sleep, I'll go. Les Brown. His name is. His name's Les Brown. Please jump onto YouTube. His name's Les Brown. About how Les Brown got his big break in radio, and he prepared and he practiced at home, and he didn't have any experience, and he went and asked the radio company owner for a job every day, and then about 4 or 5 days in, after going back every day, he got so annoyed, he said, "Go and get me some coffee." And then he was running errands and doing stuff, and then he was driving the big celebrities around to the radio station. And then one day he was there on a Saturday afternoon just giving coffee to the radio announcer. The radio announcer got very drunk while he was drinking, and he couldn't continue with the show, and the manager rang up and said, Can you ring up the other DJs and see whether you can get them to come in?" And Les Brown goes, "You must be kidding me." And he rang back and goes, "I can't get in contact with anyone." And he goes, "Can you operate the controls?" He goes, "Dear sir, I can." He went, and that was his big break, and then he's never looked back, basically. But be prepared. That's a really big thing. So always be prepared. Yeah, I've got one. I've got a saying. Perfect preparation equals perfect performance.
Yep.
That's the big thing with whatever we're doing. Excellent. Thanks, Em. Anything else you want to add before we head off here? We've gone over time again.
Leave us questions below, subscribe, whatever you do, press the silly button, follow, and that stupid bell down there.
Like
yeah, so get a free lesson.
Yeah,
Yay!
get a free lesson. If you've got a really great, interesting question, please put it in the comments. We are going to be going Facebook Live very shortly as well too. I also been looking to a thing. There's also an email thing live that we can do as well too. So we're going to be going live, and we're going to be answering questions live shortly. But we'll let you know when that's going to happen. Probably in the new year. We'll go Facebook Live, and we'll get everyone on board, and we're just going to answer everyone's questions live.
Yay! High five!
Thanks, Anne. Great to have you back again every week. Okay, we will rock you. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.